So we just come to the third movie of the Divergent series. And that means we're coming to a close because there's no part one in this movie, right? No! Divergent 3, Allegiant, directed by Robert Swanke, the guy that directed R.I.P.D. Yeah, this is a great director to have directing your young adult series. The guy that directed an MIB ripoff. These movies have really been very boring, dull, and there's nothing really about this series that stands out among the young adult genre, really. This series has been trying to be very Hunger Games light, and I just really don't care too much about this series. I know it has its fans because the books are very popular, but the movies are not really all that great, really. You got this ruined city of Chicago where people are living and they are separated into different factions based on their personalities, and people that are too unique to fit into these factions are called divergents. Shailene Woodley's character is one of these people that she decides to join up with the faction that is very athletic and all about trying to keep the peace, the Dauntless faction. And eventually she leads a rebellion against the main villain in the first movie, Janine, played by Kate Winslet, who looks like Hillary Clinton. Is her character supposed to look like Hillary Clinton? Or did they do that on purpose for some political bias? I don't know. It just seems weird that Kate Winslet's character has blonde hair and she just looks like Hillary Clinton. And she's a tyrant in the first couple movies. It's just weird. Anyway, her character is pretty much done with within the first two movies and replaced with the mother of Beatrice's boyfriend, Evelyn, played by Naomi Watts. She's part of this group of people that didn't want to be part of the faction system, the faction list, and they helped lead a rebellion along with Beatrice's friends to take away Janine's power, and Evelyn becomes the new antagonist of the series. From this point on, she starts ruling very similar to Janine. She wants to execute everybody in Janine's faction. Unfortunately, one of the people in Janine's faction is Beatrice's brother, Caleb, played by Ansel Elgort. So Beatrice and her friends rescue Caleb from his execution. They go beyond the outer limits of Chicago, beyond the wall that surrounds Chicago, and get to the outside world. They find out the outside world is a barren wasteland. It looks like a nuclear bomb hit the outer limits. But they eventually get to this city that is protected from the barren wasteland and from the acid rain that falls from the sky as well. They get decontaminated so they can live among the people there. Beatrice meets the leader, played by Jeff Daniels, David, finds out that he wants to use her as an example to help bring the people of the world together. Not just the people that are in the ruined Chicago, but people that are in other areas out of the world together, and use her as a beacon. But only her. He doesn't see anybody else from her friends as somebody that can bring people together, not even her boyfriend Ford, who also happens to be a fellow divergent. We meet up with this new character, Nika, who's helped training for, and now I thought that Nika was going to be a secondary love interest. I thought they were going to try to start the whole love triangle bit with this movie, the way she comes off to Theo James's character, but thankfully not. And I really don't like it when they do love triangles in these young adult series. It just gets so annoying, and the whole false suspense that they try to create. Who is the person in the middle going to end up with? It's just so dumb. So I'm thankful that there was no secondary love interest in this movie either. Meanwhile, in Chicago, we got a civil war starting to happen between Janine's group of people that are ready to execute anybody that's not going to be on Evelyn's side, and then Octavia Spencer's group of people that want to try to create some peace and go back to the faction system, at least what's left of the faction system. Now that's basically what's happening in Chicago, and the people of Providence are watching over this through this invisible surveillance. It's just really weird. Like, how do you watch over people with invisible surveillance? Is there cameras there that they don't see? I don't understand. And really, this movie is just so predictable and so dull, really. The good things about this movie is I do like Shailene Woodley's performance in the film, and I do like the chemistry she has with Theo James's character. They have very good chemistry, and Theo James is a pretty good actor in this series as well. But the rest of the actors in this film are really not doing that great in performance-wise. And really, the characters are not all that interesting, really. Not even the antagonists, Jeff Daniels' character, David, or Evelyn, or even Kate Winslet's character, Janine, from the first two movies. Their characters are really not all that interesting either. And Octavia Spencer's character, who's kind of like the good adult, she's not really all that interesting either. Really, those characters didn't keep me invested in this movie either. And then you have Miles Teller's character, who's supposed to be the comic relief, and his character, while some of his smart aleck comments were pretty funny, he was really annoying me in this movie, and I just wish his character would die or just get his comeuppance. And you know his character is going to stab Beatrice and her friends in the back, and of course he does. That part was so predictable. A lot of this is so predictable. You can guess when things are going to happen before it happens, and what plot points are going to happen before it happens. You can guess whether or not somebody's going to be evil before they reveal that they're evil. And it's just so dull and boring, and I just wasn't really interested, even though some of the action scenes in this movie are done pretty well, really. There was just really nothing that kept me invested in this movie. And when I find out that at the end of this movie that it's sequel baiting for the final film, I was like, really? We're getting another movie? And I find out online it's called Ascendant, that's coming out next year, probably around the same time, March. I was just like, no, I don't want to see another one of these. So I'm gonna give this movie a C-. Really, there's nothing that good about this franchise at all. If you're a fan of the franchise, I understand, fine, go ahead and see it. But if you're not a fan, don't see this movie. There are better movies out there, Zootopia, Deadpool, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Those movies are much better than this film. Go see something else. And that's all I gotta say for Divergent 3 Allegiant.